Welcome to part 2 of our Pinch Pot Bobblehead series. In part 2, we begin to build the body and head for our bobblehead. Welcome to Stecker Studios. To start off your bobblehead, we're going to create 2 small pinch pots. So ball up some clay and get ready to start making some pinch pots. So I've started with about 1.5 pounds of clay, and I'm balling this up to work out the proportions of the head and the body. I want the body to be about 2/3 of the total size and the head to be about 1/3. After I have these pieces formed, I'm going to stick my thumb in and start turning and pinching to form the base body of our pinch pot. Take your time forming the body of the pinch pot in order to get it nice and even. Remember, we don't want to be any thinner than our pinky and no thicker than our thumb. After we get it nice and even, we're going to try to flatten out the bottom, make sure that the inside is nice and round and even, and we can set that aside to start building the head. Again, with the head, we're going to also start with a ball of clay. We're going to stick our thumb inside and begin slowly turning and pinching as we go to form the basic shape to keep that nice and round. Now, after we have our basic pinch pot shape, we can begin to start forming it into the face or head of whatever we're creating. In this case, it's going to be a panda. For most heads, we can kind of stick our thumbs into the eyes in order to push those inward and to begin pinching and pulling the nose out slightly. Under the nose, we're also going to push in a little bit to form the mouth and shape the head, jaw, and cheeks. You just need to do little pinches and pokes in order to form the face. And just take your time doing this so that way you can kind of form it little by little. And once we have the basic shape, we're going to kind of set this on top and get an idea of how it fits before we move on to forming the rest of it. Next, we'll start adding some details. I'm going to begin by adding some ears because I think that's pretty important in order to identify this as a panda bear. So I'm going to pinch some clay, form some round ear shapes, and try to make them match. Little tools like the back of this needle tool can be helpful for forming our shapes. So now that I have a shape that works, I'm going to try to match it and form a second piece so we have both our ears to attach. Now it's time to test fit, make sure they work. I'm going to take this opportunity to also kind of sketch in or draw in the mouth and the outline of the eyes. Now to finish attaching our ears, we're going to score both the head where they belong and the ears and use a generous amount of slip to make sure that they are strongly attached. We're going to stick them on there good. And next we will rub that area nice and smooth to make sure that it's joined effectively. Now I'm using this needle tool to blend some clay from the ears to the head in order to smear a little clay from one piece to the other to make sure everything is nicely attached. Now with the basic shapes of the body and head made, we're going to start to form the neck and size it. So for the neck, we're going to basically start with a coil of clay. So we'll roll out a small coil. We'll thicken one side of it by tapping it on the table. and we can kind of roll it to form sort of like a golf tee where it's thinner on one end and thicker on the other. And now we can kind of test fit to see how much of it we need to stick out from underneath the head. Finish forming it a bit. Make sure we test fit again so we know that we have a good shape and a good size. And then we can mark this, score both the body and the neck, and use a generous amount of slip. I put it on both parts so it spreads out once I attach it, and then of course rub it smooth to blend these two pieces of clay together so they become one. And now I'm just going to finish this step by rubbing everything smooth, cleaning up my work a bit. And in the next episode, we will start to begin adding more details and body parts to our bobblehead. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing.